Headlines: Minister of Power gets pat on the back for commitment to addressing issues affecting power sector in Nigeria. African engineers hold 5-day conference in Uyo to tackle sustainable energy in Africa. And University of Uyo holds 51st inaugural lecture. Details of these and other stories in just a moment. Joining us on the news, I am Samuel Udofia. Governor Udom Emmanuel has commended the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, for his commitments to addressing issues affecting the power sector in Nigeria. The governor made the commendation when he received the minister in his office. Government House Bureau Chief Colonel Edem Efreti reports that Mr. Fashola was in the state on an official assignment. His report.
Governor Udom Emmanuel, who observed the non-partisan disposition of Mr. Babatunde Fashola, appreciated him for his commitment to the cause of ensuring that power was evacuated to its end users. The governor expressed his willingness to undertake any collaborative effort with the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. He briefed the minister on the challenges faced by the Ibom power plant, assuring that the facility will soon operate at expected capacity. He invited the minister to join the state at its 2016 Christmas Carol, slated for 17th December 2016.
We have done more in the power, or the protection lines were to be okay, but we have to limit to that. Now, even with that, we have challenges. We have 2 turbines now running. The other one is running on the average of 110. The second one can actually do up to 50. There are times we try to do about 35, 36. After immediately we refurbish, our target is to do 192. So once we refurbish the second turbine, we should be able to at least deliver 192. We have license to do 576. So we hope as time goes on, there could be an expansion.
The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, had earlier told the governor that he was in the state for a meeting with contractors, engineers and others working on the Ikorekbene, Alaoji, Gwaji and Calabar substations and transmitting lines. This, he said, was to facilitate evacuation of power generated by the Ibom power plant, Alaoji, Afam and Calabar power plants. He informed the governor that he had earlier in the day turned on a substation at Ikorekbene. Mr. Fashola said the power transmission problem in the state is being evaluated even as the refund of the state's funds spent on federal roads in the state are also being worked on.
The penetration of access to power is going to happen more extensively when we start implementing the Rural Electrification Implementation Program. That will be a 2017 program. We are working, planning, and we are starting with universities, most of which are in rural areas. So we have about 37 universities that we have identified them intervening next year. 37 universities, Your Excellency, and 7 teaching hospitals attached to them. And then we also have 6 small hydro power plants where we will also be intervening because they are rural areas. So we will be assisting to boost irrigation, to boost water supply, and also to boost local power in the community.
Colonel Adam Efreti reporting.
The Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Ekpo, has reminded Christians of the need to recognize the Lordship of Jesus Christ and depict His kingship in their daily activities. Mr. Ekpo was speaking at the St. Mary's Catholic Church of Bumabak when he joined other Catholic faithful to celebrate this year's Feast of Christ the King. Patience John was in the entourage of the Deputy Governor for the following report.
The Deputy Governor, who said he partook in the celebration of the day which presents Jesus Christ as the real King, also reaffirmed his belief that God rules in the affairs of men. Mr. Moses Ekpo advised people in positions of authority to acknowledge God as King, who is in charge of other leaders. The state government, he added, in recognition of this, set aside every third Saturday of the month to hand over the affairs of the state into God's hands in a monthly prayer meeting.
So for me, it's reaffirming my belief that only God is King. If you realize that there is a higher authority for us, given the responsibility to look after the people in this kind of position, we should always look up to God to take the last decision.
The Feast of Christ the King featured a procession by church faithful.
Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but to thy name give glory.
Significantly, the celebration, according to the Reverend Father Udemu Mo, in a homily, is to remind man that Jesus Christ is in control of every situation of human life. He called on Akwa Ibom people to subject to the headship of Jesus Christ, irrespective of position in life, and believe that God, as their King, will provide their needs.
Despite the fact that we have kings, we have queens, we have presidents, we have all these people leading us, that one person is still on top of all. And who is that person? Jesus Christ.
Ministration by the church choir spiced this year's celebration of Feast of Christ the King, which is usually celebrated on the last Sunday before the first Sunday of Advent. Patience John reporting.
In the Catholic calendar, Sunday was Corpus Christi, Feast of Christ the King, observed on the last Sunday of the liturgical year. Corpus Christi, also known as Corpus Dominic, is a Latin term meaning body and blood of Jesus. The most common component is that bread and wine are usually offered as symbol of the body and blood of Christ. In Nigeria, Corpus Christi is observed mostly by Catholics, though the festival is celebrated among Christians in different regions of the world. Uyoko Swa, who was part of the celebration in some Catholic churches in Uyo, reports.
Catholic faithful of St. Dominic's, Dominic Utuk's Avenue, processed through Wellington Bassey Way, led by the cross bearers, students, drummers, and other excited participants. At Sacred Heart Parish, Akalford, the Feast of Christ the King and the Corpus Christi was marked in a grand style, with knights participating actively in the commemoration. Faithful of the St. Joseph's Parish, Anua, also commemorated the feast with pomp and ceremony. Several Catholics bet their minds on the feast. Corpus Christi may not be feast of the Holy Communion. However, the Holy Communion is an important part of the feast. This is because Catholics observe the communion throughout the liturgical year. The procession is usually followed by a benediction of the Blessed Sacrament. Meanwhile, other Christian denominations have their usual church services, as observed in the Mount Zion Lighthouse Full Gospel Church, Akaitiam, where Bishop Godwin Udoinang preached on the theme, I am the God of the living. Bishop Udoinang urged Christians to remain resolute in their choice of faith, adding that God will see them through difficult times.
It is the prayer of the living God that will lead us to eternal life. This life that we are living is for a while. When there is some time, you will not see yourself again, you will not see your brother again.
Uyoko Swa reporting.
The celebration of Corpus Christi on Sunday in Uyo. Yesterday was World Television Day. The day was declared by the United Nations in 1986 to encourage people around the world to watch television when they first held the World Television Forum to discuss how significant it is in informing and broadcasting major changes in the world. What is the importance of World Television Day and what is it aimed at? Eyaino Paul spoke with a cross-section of people in the state on the benefits of watching television.
Television is a powerful medium in the lives of millions of people through news, movies, advertisements in modern society. This medium encourages creativity, expression, and also entertains so many. It is also regarded as a cornerstone of democracy as well as a pillar of cultural diversity, inviting people to explore beyond their frontiers. The importance of television prompted the United Nations in 1996 to set aside November 21 as a World Television Day. Television, according to studies, not just education, reveals fresh talent, discovers new music heritage, and encourages fusion of styles and tastes. It cultivates generosity, underpins many charitable organizations, fundraising events, broadcasts inspiring programs, and gathers billions of viewers around sound and positive values. By offering quality entertainment and providing avenue of dreams, the television is said to be a medium serving the common good, a medium that triggers curiosity and encourages people to gather around for common interest. The celebration highlights how communications can become the modern central international issues. Now, what is the viewer's opinion on the positive impact of television?
Because it's good to worship so that you can hear what happened.
You can watch television. There's some news and all.
You have to learn. You learn seeing something happening every day by television. Without that, you cannot know what is happening in the world.
Let me know what is happening in the state. Let me.
We cannot do without television now. I like watching television. Sometimes I want to get information that maybe I cannot get it. Or I watch television maybe by hearing news. I watch television in so many programs. I watch football, but the one I like to watch much is news. So I think it makes life easier for us.
How do people who use the medium as a means of reaching people feel in this special day?
I think one of God's best gifts to humanity is intellect in the creation of television. It's been a very powerful instrument. I know how far the television has helped us to propagate positive messages towards societal development. Television has helped positively in the development of the society, as I said. Television has also been used to bring down a lot of people. And you cannot anywhere underrate the power of the television to make or mar the society.
What is the negative effect of watching this powerful medium, and what should be done?
No, it's not a bad thing as far as they are showing good things. It's not bad things. I like it.
Want to watch something that will benefit you, something that will interest you, something that your children will learn instead of something that will benefit your children instead of corrupting them or spoiling them.
The negative things happening in our world today comes from this very powerful tool that has also been a tool of development. So we should be able to sift what is good from the television and try to avoid the negative parts.
It is obvious that the significance of the World Television Day goes beyond paying tribute to viewers of television. It tends to add content and reflect on the values of the medium. It is about celebrating the impact and reach of television. Happy World Television Day to all viewers, and keep watching television. Iyagenopo reporting.
Iyano Paul there were on the World Television Day celebration held yesterday. African engineers will from today gather in Uyo to discuss sustainable energy in Africa. The 5-day conference has the theme Adequate, Reliable and Sustainable Energy in Africa. The national president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Otis Oyaji, disclosed this at the news conference in Uyo. Uyo Koswa was there.
Which is the 49th, will afford Nigerian engineers the opportunity to compare notes with their counterparts in other parts of the world on tackling infrastructural gap as it relates to the energy sector. He noted that the vast poverty and slow pace of development, despite government's effort, calls for an overhaul of the strategies. This, he noted, would be possible if access to reliable energy is brought to the front burner.
As a professional body and major stakeholder in the national development processes in Nigeria, we have resolved on a proactive step purposely to stimulate futuristic approach to the course of development. There is no doubt doubting the fact that every nation that has become great had to seriously encourage the study and practice of engineering. This is because the advances and application of engineering over time has led to the physical and economic development of many countries.
The conference, which is scheduled to hold at the Tropicana Conference Center, Uyo, will last till Friday, 25th November. The meeting will also feature plenary and syndicate technical sessions, as well as an exhibition. President Muhammadu Buhari is expected as special guest of honor, while Governor Udom Emmanuel is the chief host. Uyo Koswa reporting.
We have more news after the break. Stay with us. Watching AM News with me, Samuel Udofia. For his dedication and commitment in God's vineyard, Bishop Samuel Atai of the Mount Zion Lighthouse Full Gospel Church Incorporated, Utu Edem Usom Diocese in Ikorekbane, has been honored by the Bible University, Canada. The conferment of an honorary Doctor of Divinity and Humanity was watched by friends and well-wishers of Bishop Atai. The report.
At the occasion, the Vice-Chancellor of Future Life University of Theology, Archbishop Jeremiah Kanem, said the award is in recognition of Bishop Samuel Atai's dedication in the Lord's Vineyard. He noted that the university had in 2012 conferred an honorary doctorate of divinity on Bishop Atai. The second award, Doctor of Humanity, was expedient in appreciation of his commitment.
Today I come you with the cup of Doctor of Humanity.
Earlier in a citation read by Apostle Elijah Philip, Bishop Atai was born in 1956 to lead Reverend Basi Atai of Etina local government area. He was educated in Bishop Ken Memorial School, Calabar, and West African People's Institute, Calabar, where he obtained his first school living certificate and O-level in 1966 and 1972. Bishop Atai and the Church General Secretary were also honored by members of the church. Bishop Atai is married with children. In his sermon, Apostle Elijah Phillips advised Christians to always wait patiently on God for the fulfillment of his promises, noting that God never goes back on his words.
If you refuse to give generously to this family of God, it means you muzzle that family.
Responding, Bishop Atai said the award was a booster to greater commitments.
I feel so happy. I feel so great. I feel so enlightened because the Lord has done it for me, and He will do it to any other person who believes in Him. As far as life permits, I will live to the glory of God in the next days and years to come.
Members of the church and friends of the awardees had this to say.
I'm so happy for him. And I pray God will strengthen him and continue to give him the grace to work more and more.
Another favor is added to the Social Bishop Dr. Samuel Basi Atai.
Hard work has made this day a success. I want to wish him more upliftment.
The 51st inaugural lecture of the University of Uyo is to be delivered by a professor of Forest Resources Management and Economics, Professor Enefia Udo, on Thursday, November 24, 2016. The statement by the Registrar and Secretary to Senate of the University, Mr. Anyedi Abasi Udofia, says the lecture will be on the topic Forest Management and Abuses. It will take place at the Onyema Ogochukwu Auditorium, town campus of the university at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The statement invites members of the university community and the public to attend. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom State has sued for continued synergy between party members of the ward level and the state. This, it said, will go a long way in promoting unity and growth of the party. The state chairman of the PDP, Obong Paul Ekbo, gave the charge during an interactive meeting with chairmen of transition committees from the 31 local government areas of the state and ADs to the state government. The story is here presented.
At the meeting, Obong Paul Ekbo spoke on the need for party stalwarts to strengthen the support base of the party at the grassroots, saying that to achieve this, they must remain focused, think that differences for sustainability of all power and stability of the party. He made a case for registration and mobilization of members across all units and wards in the local government areas as the party works to resume its place of power at the center by 2019. Obong Ekbo installed the effort by Governor Udom Emmanuel in engaging members of the party in his industrialization drive, even as he congratulated the transition chairman and aides to the governor on their appointments. The party chairman, however, advised them to carry out their official functions with responsibility and to desist from actions that are inimical to the growth and advancement of the party and the Udom administration.
I want to see actions that will further strengthen our existence as a party, will further strengthen our partnership, and further mobilize our people towards one goal of making Akwa Ibom PDP and PDP Akwa Ibom State.
In their responses, the Chairman Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON in the state, and Transition Chairman, Mr. Frank Achibong, and an aide to the Governor on Special Project Monitoring, Sebong Omana, applauded the party leadership for the session. They described the meeting as an insightful one, which has broadened their focus on the way forward for the party in the state.
Reassure you that we will not let the party down.
the platform on which we stand today is the PDP. And except we don't want a platform, except we don't want to stand or remain where we are, that is when we will be lazy about going back to work. That PDP is the only party that is well structured as far as the Bible state is concerned. We are in every nook and we are in every cranny of this state.
The meeting had other state executives and members of the State Working Committee of the PDP in attendance, who took turns to contribute ideas for steady power of the PDP in the state.
And in our national and international news, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway due for completion during the Yuletide, and Angela Merkel of Germany declares interest for the fourth term in office.
Construction of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is due for completion before Yuletide, says Mr. Kayode Ibrahim, supervising engineer of the project. Ibrahim told the news agency of Nigeria that the work has been completed on one section of the Long Bridge and on various critical sections, noting that 32% of the entire work has been completed. Section 1 of the project is from Ojota in Lagos to Shagamu Interchange and is being handled by Julius Beja. He said more warning signs and crash barriers have been deployed to the highway to ensure free flow of traffic and to check accidents. French ex-President Nicolas Sarkozy has been knocked out of the contest for a centre-right presidential candidate, and this signaled his withdrawal from politics. Admitting defeat, Mr. Sarkozy endorsed Francois Fillon, a moderate who finished first in Sunday's first round, according to near-complete results. Alain Juppé, who like Mr. Fillon is an ex-prime minister, finished second and will be facing each other in a runoff next Sunday, and the winner will compete in next year's presidential election. The winner of the Republican primary is likely to make the presidential runoff, where he or she will probably face far-right leader Marine Le Pen, political analysts say. With the governing socialist unpopular and divided, it seems unlikely that any left-wing candidate will survive the first round in April. In his concession speech, Mr. Sarkozy has said, "I have no bitterness, I have no sadness, and I wish the best for my country." Germany's centre-right Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced that she will run for a fourth term in office after meeting leaders of her political party. She told her Christian Democrat Union CDU party in Berlin that she expected her toughest campaign yet and would fight for Germany's values and way of life. Ms. Merkel's poll ratings have slipped since the height of her popularity, but she retains wide support. The Chancellor, who has been in office since 2005, is also being challenged by the popular right-wing AfD party. While an election is due to be held next year after 4 years of coalition with Social Democrats, SPD, it would be recalled that in September, Mrs. Merkel accepted responsibility for election defeat for the CDU in several states and considered that her open-door policy towards migrants was a factor. US President Barack Obama has said he may speak out after leaving office if he feels his successor Donald Trump is threatening core American values. These, however, would be going against conventional practice. Mr. Obama said he would give Mr. Trump time to outline his vision as Trump spent the weekend interviewing candidates for top jobs in his cabinet. "I want to be respectful of the office and give the president-elect an opportunity to put forward his platform and his arguments without somebody popping off," Mr. Obama said at a forum in Lima, Peru, describing himself as an American citizen who cares deeply about his country. Meanwhile, reports making the rounds suggest that the president-elect may consider one of his outstanding Republican critics, Mr. Mitt Romney, for the post of Secretary of State. At least 27 people have been killed in a suicide attack inside a Shia Muslim mosque in the Afghan capital, Kabul, police say. Another 35 were wounded in the blast at the Bequa El Ulum Mosque. The attacker was on foot and blew himself up among.
And now to end the news, the top stories. The Minister for Works, Power and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has been commended for his commitment to addressing issues affecting the power sector in Nigeria. Governor Udom Emmanuel made the commendation when the minister called at Government House, Uyo. Also, African engineers are gathering in Uyo for a 5-day conference to discuss adequate, reliable and sustainable energy in the country. That's our news package. You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45 or you are on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. Have a great day.